You know what? We can take the break, and we can see if Ethan can reconnect with him, because I want to hear where he goes with that answer. I don't know. CJ, I'm just saying, we just started bringing up some deep stuff, and then it gets cut off. Is the Illuminati listening to the show? Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes away from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock?
That's it. I'm going home.
Dang, man.
See ya.
I wouldn't even be on the air on any of our stations before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have a... I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. Boom. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. Imagine that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the Northern Panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous.
Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude.
We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game.
know,
and you
I
were
know.
watching the Lions game on
Yeah,
Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
What happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So,
Because I'm not a recluse anymore.
so if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some creds? Are you like, hey, I'm actually you want to kind of sports show, syndicated,
Well, I don't.
statewide?
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the
Only
rest
edition.
of the edition, yeah.
Yeah. Tonight is going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. Yeah. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station, had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who were from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently. Really? Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel, from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
With another possible government shutdown looming, U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito will join us coming up bottom of the hour, and Hoppy Kercheval is already peering ahead to the May primary. It's MetroNews Talkline. We are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave Wilson with you. Gang's all here, ready to go. Zach Carolczyk is our video producer this morning. Ethan Collins running the audio side of things, and you are joining us across the MetroNews Radio Network on one of our great radio affiliates across the states, or on the MetroNews TV app, YouTube, Facebook. The video stream is all over the place if you would like to watch this fine program. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito going to join us a little bit later on. Hoppy Kercheval stops by. Brad McElhenney will join us with an update from the state capitol as well. And, of course, TJ Meadows from Charleston. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
That was a terrible introduction. I was having a moment going, nope, they're tomorrow. Nope, that person's next week. Days were starting to run together for me. So I just said, you know what? TJ's in Charleston.
It does feel a little weird for this week. My kids haven't been in school all week. I woke up this morning complete, just candid. I thought it was Friday. I did. I thought it was Friday.
That's the worst, though, when you wake up and go, Friday, steam release, and you go, oh, no, it's Thursday. It's only Thursday. It's better when you do it the opposite way around, TJ. If you wake up tomorrow and you go, it's Thursday, then you find out it's Friday, you feel better about the week.
Yeah.
You did it the wrong way, man.
Well, I do many things the wrong way, David. Have we not established that clearly in the year that we've had this show, at any rate?
We've got documented evidence of that. But today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. We will do steam release tomorrow. Then we're back at the Capitol next week. As a matter of fact, we got a busy couple of days, Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll talk about that later. Earlier this week, the House of Delegates took up a bill dealing with human trafficking. You have our attention. Brad McElhenney wrote about that bill over at WVMetroNews.com. Delegate JB Akins was championing that bill, explaining that bill on the floor. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Delegate Akins, good morning.
How are you guys? Good to see you. Of course, you would have me when you're not in the Capitol. I thought I'd get to actually sit down and see you guys face to face, but at least we get to do it this way. And let me say, first of all, on that particular bill, just so people know, the role I've got in the House, I'm the House Judiciary Chairman. So bills that come out of my committee, I'm responsible for presenting them on the floor. Sometimes those are bills that I'm personally involved in. Sometimes those are bills that just pass out of my committee. So my role as the chair of that committee is to present those bills. But let me be clear, this was a bill I did personally support as well. So I had to present the bill both as the chair of my committee and I personally supported it. So let me tell you real quickly a few things about that bill that I think are extremely important. Number one, the exact same version of that bill passed the House of Delegates last year, 96-1. with a few small exceptions. We actually made a couple changes to that bill this year that I would say softened it up a little bit. We had some concerns from the Democrats in the House this year, and we made a few small changes to the bill. But for all intents and purposes, it was the exact same bill that passed the House of Delegates 96-1 last year. This year, that bill ran at a time when obviously things are a mess up in Minnesota. There's some issues in other places in the country as well. And I think that caused that bill to become politicized. And there were some concerns expressed with that bill among our friends on the Democrat side. And I am friends with some of those folks. I'm not just using that word. But I would call that politely manufactured concern. I don't know what else to call it, because again, it's the same bill that all but one of them voted for last year, except I think from their perspective was actually improved a little bit. But they all voted against it this year. And the concern they claim came from the smuggling portion of that bill. So that bill revamps and revises our existing human trafficking code. It makes it a much better trafficking law than we currently have. And I don't know of anyone who can argue that trafficking should not be illegal and harshly penalized, which this bill does.
So get into that a little bit, JB. How does it specifically, sorry about that. How does it specifically limit human trafficking? What does it do?
Well, we have some new definitions for trafficking, and we shore up and have much stricter penalties. For example, for if you are trafficking children in particular, human trafficking can affect anyone, men, women, children. It's primarily a crime committed against women and children. But if you're human trafficking, this is an example of what this bill does for that. If it involves sexual servitude of a child, which unfortunately is not uncommon in different parts of America, that's a straight 50-year sentence now. So that is an extremely harsh penalty. You might do more time for sexual servitude of a child than you potentially could for murder at this point. It just depends on how long you're in jail for murder. But in theory, you could be in jail longer for sexual servitude of a child. So there's some other changes we made, but it's just a much stronger trafficking law. And this is one of the things I talked about on the House floor is this is not just a bill that revolves around immigration. There are 400,000 American citizens who are trafficked every year. Those are statistics that come from the Department of Homeland Security at the federal level. And this became a real priority during the Obama administration. Back in 2010, the DHS at the federal level started what's called Project Blue to draw attention to human trafficking in America. So this has been an ongoing issue for a long time. It's not just brand new. And this is a bill that's been presented in previous years. And this is, I think, the best version of it. So the trafficking laws are much stronger. The debate we had really was over the smuggling portion of the bill. And I want to read folks exactly what the bill says so that they understand it. Because and again, not being disrespectful, I try to get along with everybody, but our friends in the Democrat side, I think, created confusion because they didn't want to vote for this bill this year because of what's happening in places like Minnesota. It's a hot issue right now, obviously. But human smuggling under this bill is defined as knowingly transporting, transferring. There's some other ways you can smuggle someone, but let's just say, stick with transporting, knowingly transporting someone who you know is an illegal alien to avoid the enforcement of laws of this state, another state, or the United States. So you have to do two things to be guilty of smuggling. You have to know that the person has illegal status, and you have to transport them or receive them or isolate them, whatever, for the purpose of avoiding law enforcement. If you are simply providing aid or assistance to that person, if you're giving them a meal, giving them clothes, taking them to the doctor, that is not being done for the purpose of avoiding law enforcement, and you have no criminal exposure under this bill. So if you're a church group who wants to provide food to someone, even if you know they have a legal status, you're not required to ask either. This bill has no verification requirements. You don't have to ask them what their status is. But even if you know they're illegal, you can feed that person, have no criminal culpability, unless you are trying to somehow break the law. And there are existing federal laws that exist now. And this bill we talked about really is in line with existing federal law, except it's a little more lenient even.
JB Akins is joining us, Kanawha County delegate. JB, why was this bill necessary here in West Virginia?
Well, number one, our human trafficking law, I think, was just sort of outdated and obsolete based upon the realities of what happens there. The smuggling part, I talked about this in the House floor. We have a lot of parallel laws in state code that parallel federal laws. Drug laws are a good example of that, and we have some other ones as well. But one of the things I said in the House floor is, the federal government doesn't prosecute every single case. They don't have the resources or time to do that. So you want to at least know that you have a state law that you can fall back on if you need to, if the feds for some reason tell you they can't take a case, or you both prosecute it. And that also happens a lot in serious crimes. If there's a parallel state and federal crime, and to me, trafficking and smuggling is interconnected with trafficking. Not everyone who is a smuggler is engaging in sexual extortion, for example, or sexual servitude. But Interpol and other agencies tell us that smuggling and trafficking are intertwined. So if it's a serious crime, you should have the option to prosecute both state and federally, because the federal prosecution may fail for some reason. The federal prosecution might get overturned or reversed. And someone who was otherwise guilty of human trafficking could wind up going free unless you also have the ability to prosecute them at the state level, and then you could get them convicted at both levels and know that that person will serve the time that they're responsible for. So that's one reason why you want to have parallel state and federal crimes. It happens all the time. It's not unusual.
At what point does the way our system is designed with prosecutorial deference and whether or not a prosecutor wants to pursue a case, what role does that play? Because I feel that this is a situation, although well-intended, and I understand some of these concerns people may have. Can we write a law for everything? Should we write a law for everything? I mean, isn't that the role of the prosecutor, and isn't that the role of a jury to fully take a look at these instances and define intent and judge whether or not someone had malice or not?
Yeah, I'm actually in favor of less laws as a general rule. I'm someone who says we probably pass too many laws every year. I'd like to pass less and actually probably repeal some of the laws we have that I think are unnecessary. But this is a law that I'm happy to support because this is a very serious crime. It's also just the truth. Drug cartels get paid to traffic and smuggle people. So this goes just beyond the individual victims, which, the individual victim is enough to me to justify these laws. But for every person who gets smuggled or trafficked and a drug cartel profits off that, that also means we have more drugs in our country. So this becomes a multi-layered debate that we're having about what the long-term effects of this are, the ripple effects. And, one of the comments that was made on the House floor, which I was really kind of shocked by, was that this is an irrelevant bill. It doesn't affect everyday West Virginians. Every penny we spend fighting crime, or every penny that goes to a drug cartel that ships fentanyl into West Virginia, that has broader effects within our state.
No, I'm with you. But
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, in terms of these unintended consequences, we talked about church groups and everything. Isn't that the role of the prosecutor, to have that deference, to understand and judge the intention of these church groups? I don't think we can put every contingency into one law. I think we all agree, yes, we should have very tough human trafficking laws, but we can't, every little contingency we can't account for in one piece of legislation. I guess that's where I'm going. Does that make sense?
Yes, and if you do try to do that, you actually make a worse law. Then it becomes too convoluted. There are too many exceptions. And this one, to me, when people said, well, there's some confusion here, we took out all the confusion, made an amendment on the floor. And again, it cannot be more clear the way this reads. You have to know the person. This is the smuggling portion only. You have to know the person is illegal, and you have to be trying to avoid law enforcement. I can't imagine any rational prosecutor who would ever try to prosecute someone who isn't doing both of those things. If you're a church group, I said this in the House floor, you can literally have a sign out front of your church that says free food for immigrants or free food for illegal immigrants. Feed those people, and you would face no criminal exposure under this bill. And we also have a lot of other exceptions in here for doctors, if you're a lawyer representing someone, and if you're immediate family. This is an exception that's much broader than the federal law that we did to show we have some heart in this situation, because we're not trying to break apart families. If you're a parent or a grandparent or a sister or brother, for example, you can be quote unquote smuggling your own immediate family member under this bill and not face criminal culpability if you're just trying to get that person from one place to another. Or, and if you're a college kid and you have a friend who you don't know about their legal status, if you're going to go eat dinner at a restaurant, if you're taking them to Wendy's to get food, you have no criminal exposure under this bill, unless you're trying to help that person avoid law enforcement, which again is what's consistent with federal law and is already a crime. So I agree, TJ, you can't try to account for everything. You have to rely upon people's good judgment. And to me, this bill is completely clear on what it tries to do. And people who are just trying to provide help or aid, they do not have exposure here.
Kanawha County Delegate JB Akins. JB, next time we'll be on set. We'll bring you by, buddy.
All right. Good to see you guys. Wish you the best.
You as well. Brad McElhenney from the Capitol next.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
For the 6th consecutive year, U.S. News & World Report ranks WVU Medicine J.W. Ruby Memorial as the #1 hospital in West Virginia. It's also recognized as high-performing in gastroenterology, GI surgery, orthopedics, and urology, and in 18 procedures and conditions. This is the highest distinction a hospital can earn for U.S. News' Best Hospitals, Procedures, and Conditions ratings. For more information, visit WVUMedicine.org.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Calva Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Calva, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Virginia. Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Brad McElhenney joins us from the West Virginia State Capitol. Brad, our Capitol reporter, brought to you by AARP. Your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Connect on social media at AARP West Virginia and learn more at aarp.org. Brad, good morning.
Oh, hello and good morning from here in the basement.
Appreciate you hopping on this morning. Senate Education Committee meeting this morning, and there was at least a discussion regarding teacher pay raises? Question mark?
Yeah, Jeff Jenkins providing coverage for us, but I listened in for a little bit too. This is Senate Bill 516, and I'll just read you a little bit of the bill explanation. it would raise the state minimum salary for teachers to $50,000 beginning 2026, 2027. It would update the minimum salary schedule for educators to provide an additional $2,000 annual salary increase for all teachers, and provide a minimum salary increase of $1,200 for teachers, providing specific topics, experts in math instruction and special education. That is in line with the governor's desire to provide what he called a 3% pay raise for teachers and other public employees. And of course, legislators themselves have talked about hoping to provide raises this year for teachers and public employees. I will say, though, that there was a lot of discussion about this bill. It's about $70 million overall. The committee talked about it, got under the hood and talked about it to a pretty good degree of detail. In the end, Senate Education Chairwoman Amy Nicole Grady determined that there are still unanswered questions about this bill, and so they laid it aside. They took no vote one way or another. Didn't vote to advance it, didn't vote to kill it, but set it aside for a moment. One of the questions was that I think that there is not yet a fiscal note that's an examination of the potential costs. But the second item was, even during the committee meeting, there were questions about what would be the effect. Is there enough effect for veteran teachers? That $50,000 minimum would do a lot for beginning teachers, but what would it do for teachers who have put in their time in the classrooms already? So more to come on that, but it's, I think I take it to be the first bit of a conversation about teacher pay raises here in the West Virginia legislative session.
To that second point you just made, Brad, I'm wondering what the teachers union has to say. Would they be willing, or have they given any indication that getting to that 50 minimum for new teachers would be preferable or accepted over a raise or a higher raise for those veterans teachers? I'm wondering where they come down in that calculus.
Mm-hmm. The committee brought forward Christy Skidmore, who is the co-chief of the now combined West Virginia Teachers Union. And, what I heard her say, I hope I'm not misinterpreting her, but was to say that this bill does a lot for beginning teachers, but that there is a lag, or it does less for those veteran teachers. And I think there was also, there's obviously this effort to pay a little more for teachers who have expertise in math and special education. But I think I heard some discussion also about, different areas of the state, just making a living costs more, particularly the panhandles and especially the eastern panhandle. So I think that's another question, and especially one that is likely to be raised in the state Senate.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhenney, about a minute here. Brad, what's on the agenda today at the Capitol?
Well, Bibles. There is a bill that's gotten some attention in the state Senate, Senate Bill 388, which would make a kind of the Bible, the Aitken Bible. It shall be available to classrooms for 4th, 8th, and 10th grade social studies curriculums. It doesn't mean that Bible itself will be part of the reading or part of the lessons, but it has a particular part of American history. During the American Revolution, obviously there was a war going on with England. There was a Bible shortage. The Aitken Bible was born of that. It was the first complete English language Bible printed in America. And, it was to meet a shortage. So potentially it works into the sort of Revolutionary War curriculum. But, there's a question here, I think, about Bibles in the classroom generally. And yesterday there was a debate about why this Protestant Bible, why not a Catholic Bible or something else?
You can read Brad's story over at the website, wvmetronews.com. Brad's report brought to you by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Brad, appreciate it. We'll check in tomorrow, round out the week.
Hey, thanks.
Coming up, U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito will join us. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios on Metro News. Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It is 10:30, time to get a news update. Let's check in with the Metro News Radio Network, find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. We'll see in the coming weeks where the legislature goes with Governor Morrissey's request for a 10% cut in the state's income tax. This hour, the governor's scheduled to appear in Parkersburg with Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist. During a Wednesday media event, Morrissey sounded hopeful in his relationship with the legislature.
We know we're starting to make some progress with some of the legislation, and I just want to applaud the legislature.
Meanwhile, an interesting debate in the state Senate where a bill will be voted on next hour to allow the early American history Aiken Bible to be placed in some classrooms where that part of history is being taught. Bill supporters say the Bible will be for historical reference, not theological instruction. Senate Minority Leader Mike Woelfel tried to get the Gutenberg Catholic Bible added to the bill yesterday. The majority opposed it. Woelfel had this exchange with Senate Education Committee Chair Amy Nicole Grady.
What's wrong with my Bible?
I didn't say there was anything wrong with your Bible.
You're rejecting it. What is wrong with, why is your Bible better than my Bible?
This Aitken Bible, which I stated whenever I opposed your amendment, has a historical significance to the American Revolution. That is the basis of this bill. I'm not trying to make it religious or theological.
Grady says some are trying to make the bill into something that is not. It's up for passage coming up next hour during the Senate floor session. All schools closed today in the state, although the majority are on a remote schedule. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Since 1914, Greer Limestone and Asphalt have been laying the groundwork for America's roads, buildings, and bridges. What started as a single limestone mine near Morgantown, West Virginia, has grown into the state's largest producer of limestone aggregates. But Greer doesn't stop at rock. Greer's Morgantown and Clarksburg asphalt plants produce top-tier paving mixes for driveways to major highways, crafted to meet federal standards. At Greer Limestone and Greer Asphalt, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
The Mountain State's premier fishing, hunting, and outdoor sports show returns to Milan Park in Morgantown March 7th and 8th. Over 100,000 square feet of campers and RVs, boats and ATVs, hunting and fishing supplies, guns, knives, and more. Limited vendor space is now available. To put your products and services in front of over 10,000 outdoor enthusiasts, visit WVOutdoorSportsShow.com. The 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, presented by Can-Am, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown, a WVRC media event.
Add Wayne County to the West Virginia school districts that have voted to close schools in recent years because of declining enrollment. The Wayne County Board of Education voting last night to close Dunlow and Genoa elementary schools after the school year. School district officials say the county can no longer afford to keep the small schools open. A Morgantown man going to prison for 25 years for stabbing and killing another man in November 2022. 26-year-old Chance Williams sentenced Wednesday after a previous conviction on second-degree murder. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Text line is 304-TALK 304. Phone number is 800-765-TALK. We'll get to some of your comments coming up in just a bit. Hoppy Kercheval, top of the hour. He's already peering ahead to the May primary election. In Washington, D.C., Senate Democrats have laid out their demands for an overhaul of immigration enforcement, including mandating the use of body cameras and ending roving patrols ahead of a deadline to pass the $1.3 trillion package of spending bills that would avert a partial government shutdown. Democrats say they are willing to provide the votes needed only if Republicans agree to rework the one bill funding the Department of Homeland Security and enshrine the new restrictions. Please welcome to the program U.S. Senator for the great state of West Virginia, Shelley Moore Capito. Senator Capito, good morning. Senator Capito, you there?
Good morning.
There you are.
I had my mute button on.
Happens to us all the time. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on this morning. Want to talk DHS funding, government shutdown, and yesterday's committee hearing with the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. But let's start with the DHS funding. Democrats have suggested they want the DHS funding bill separated from the other five. Mm-hmm. Some Republicans have expressed some openness to that idea. What say you?
Well, I think I can accept that. I think that right now, if we can get the five bills done, one of which is the Health, Education, Labor, which is the subcommittee that I chair, that would put us in very good position, over 90% of the government being funded. I would, of course, like to have Homeland Security in there. That's not just ICE and Border Patrol. It's also TSA and FEMA at a time of storms, and Coast Guard and Secret Service and other essential items. But I think the important thing is to try to, it looks like the president's talking with Senator Schumer to try to reach some kind of a compromise here in the next several days. So what we would do is put the Homeland Security on a continuing resolution for a short period of time to work out the differences.
Senator Tillis of North Carolina has clearly lost confidence in Secretary Noem. What is your take there? Have you lost confidence in her role and her ability to do her job?
Well, I think what we've seen in Minneapolis has been really difficult to watch, and I think that the temperature's gone way up, which is why the president sent Tom Homan up there to try to settle things down, and I think he has. I think that they're all talking now more aggressively, trying to figure out a way to abide by the law and remove dangerous people that are in their jails and that they're already incarcerated and need to be deported out of this country. I think that there'll be a full review of everything that's gone on, and I think probably as part of that will be the Secretary's involvement here. I mean, I know that she's under fire for some of the comments that she made, and I think that should be part of the story on to, was she getting bad information? Where is this? So I think she's in a difficult spot right now.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito joining us here on Metro News Talkline. Senator Capito, very often politics these days are a zero-sum game. I win, you lose, you win, I lose. What is a successful outcome, in your opinion, of everything regarding Department of Homeland Security, the immigration issues in Minnesota, the bill that's still out there this week with the funding? What would be a successful resolution?
In my view, I think, I'd like to focus on the fact that nobody's coming across the border illegally anymore. The focus since the president has come in, and remember, former President Biden said, I can't do this unless I get buy-in from the Congress, and I think President Trump has proven that that's not actually the case. If you can enforce the law, provide deterrence, deport people back quickly, it dries up. I mean, remember, these are people that are coming in that are paying probably more than a year's salary in some cases to cross the border, and they were being welcomed with open arms. So I think the highlight of that is been lost because of the enforcement. The president said when he was running, I am going to get violent criminals who killed people like Laken Riley and others who shouldn't be here off the streets and get the gangs off the streets and send them back. And I think the American public are very, very in favor of that. I do think that, but I don't think the American public is in favor of pitting law enforcement against one another in a city like we've seen in Minneapolis. So I think those tactics maybe and training and de-escalation, and I think that has to be a part of how we move forward. I believe that ICE should be there. I do not believe in defund ICE. And I think that would lead to more safety issues than we have right now. And I think those are that ICE performs a good job when they are taking the violent criminals and working with local officials to get those violent criminals off of our streets.
Senator, are we at where we are? Because and the executive is taking heat because Congress has failed to act on this, so that just leaves the executive to try to clean the mess up and to try to deal with it absent any kind of tougher law or scrutiny from Congress.
Well, I think that's it's a partial true statement there in that over the years, I mean, I've been here a while, over the years, we haven't really gotten to immigration reform of any substantive quality. The president came forward, President Trump, in his former administration, and asked for, basically, it was a pathway for 10 or 12 million people who had been here 15, 20, 30 years, who are paying their taxes, raising their families, but still haven't achieved citizenship, to be able to go through some hoops and payments and years to get them on a pathway towards legality, or at least some kind of legal status. We couldn't get bipartisan buy-in for that because nobody wanted, at that point, the Democrats didn't want to solve the problem because it's such a heavy political issue. And so we haven't acted. And I think this is a result of the gap of us not acting and in certain instances. But when you have cities, major cities around the country that have sanctuary cities, which I would have been on bills to eliminate sanctuary cities, I don't know how you can tell our federal law enforcement that are enforcing our immigration laws that you can't go into a county or a city or a state prison and say, this person's from Argentina here illegally. He just murdered 2 people. He's out. When you're prevented from doing that, you're not doing your job, and that doesn't have anything to do with what Congress does. And unless we can outlaw sanctuary cities, which I don't think we'd get bipartisan buy-in for that.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito joining us here on Metro News Talkline. Just by chance, yesterday on the show, we were talking permitting reform for a hot minute. Meanwhile, up on Capitol Hill, you were holding a hearing as chair of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee on federal environmental review and the permitting process. You said during your opening statement that you called the hearing with the intent of getting back on the path to fruitful compromise. So, Senator Capito, what did you want to hear from the witnesses yesterday to get back on that path?
Right. Well, it was funny. I was listening to your show because I was on my way to the airport to try to get that was a long story. I finally got here at midnight that day, so that tells you how long it took me to get here. But we have been moving forward on permitting reform. I'm working with Sheldon Whitehouse, who's my ranking member, very well. We're working together. The parameters are, for instance, judicial review. You saw what happened with the MVP pipeline. It kept getting caught and bounced around the courts. There's got to be an end to that. So, some agreements there, some agreements of timelines, some agreements on expediting and efficiencies, not curbing any environmental reviews, but making it go quicker. And so we had this hearing. We had one of the witnesses was from the Bechtel Group, which is an international construction. I mean, they got permitted to build the Sydney Airport in Australia in 3 years. It takes 8 years here. And think about the cost factor or people walking away. He said that the research shows them that there's $2.4 trillion of capital sitting on the sidelines because they don't have permitting certainty, that your permit can't be yanked or that it's going to take too long to get through the court systems. So we had a really, we had the solar people there, we had the state energy people, we had the unions, the laborers. This is something where I think we can do this, and as I heard from when you were talking to Toby Rice, it's absolutely essential for them, but it's essential in so many facets of our life: transportation, housing, manufacturing, space, communications, everything.
Navigating NEPA requires a PhD and about 40 years experience in order to understand it and get it done. I have to go to multiple agencies, and if 10 agencies are happy with me, but the 11th one has a problem, then it throws the whole permit out, and I have to start over. You talked about timelines. There's no definitive timeline. So should part of that law be, look, you got 3 years, Congress, I'm making a number up, 3 years to approve or not approve my permit, and if you don't, I'm off to the races.
Right. Yes, that's the type of thing that we're looking at. The other thing that you brought up, I think, is a really good point. Number one, there's multiple agencies involved here. We need to work better to have they need to work better, have a central agency be in charge, whether it's the Corps of Engineers, and then have everything run through them, or so that you don't have to go to 10 different agencies. You really have one point of contact. But the other part of it is if you have a 17-point, I'm just taking that number out of the air, a 17-point application for NEPA reform, and one section of it has an issue, you should let the other 16 sections keep moving forward rather than to have to review the whole thing. And this is used as a stall tactic by the anti-forces that don't want to see any kind of development. So these are all things that we're going to incorporate into our bill. The House passed a bill that had a good framework, and we're working off of that.
Can we see that? When will we see that actually come to fruition?
Yes. Hopefully in the next 3 to 4 months, but it shouldn't take that long. Quite honestly, we were very close in December, and to be honest with you, when the president canceled the offshore wind projects one of them was in Rhode Island, which is where the ranking member that I'm working with is a Rhode Island member. He put a pause on our negotiations. So we're getting him back on board. He has been great to work with, but we need to have him. The bill that passed out of the House was bipartisan, so I think we're on good track there.
I think you just hit on the problem and talk about this. Because if the left leans toward renewables, and I'm not saying everybody, but let's just hypothetical, and the right leans toward fossil fuels, these delays and this onerous process allows both sides to stop each other's projects. So I'm not sure that Congress really wants to fix this. I hear it in your voice. I know you do, but you're one vote out of 100 in the Senate. I'm not sure that all of your colleagues really want to fix this problem, because it's a good tool to have if you want to stop the other guy's project.
Right, but here's the difference right now. The difference was 4 years ago, it was MVP pipeline, it was XL pipeline, it was the fossil projects that were getting stopped. And those of us who have interest in that, and certainly I'm one of them, were screaming to high heavens. You can't do that. It's not fair. It's been permitted. It needs to go. Fast forward to 2025, the president comes in. He has a particular distaste for offshore wind. He cancels those projects that are already permitted and 80% done. Exactly what happened with the MVP pipeline, only a different form. So before, we couldn't get the Democrats on board because things were looking great. Now it's mutual pain. So the only way to really solve the problem for the long term is to have that certainty built in. You get your permit, you can build. I don't care what I'm agnostic as to what your project is. And you can't have the political influences upend this, because people aren't going to put capital out there, and these are billion-dollar projects, if they think in 2 years, if the president's political philosophy shifts, a new president, I'm out. Any good businessman would not put that money on the table.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, we appreciate you hopping on the show. Appreciate you listening to the show as well. Thank you.
Of course. I'm an avid listener, but my husband listens every day.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, Charlie.
Right. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah. And my brother-in-law, Tom. He listens all the time, too. Thank you.
Tom. Thank you. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito. Take a break. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Principal Greg Dosh of MTech.
Thanks to funding in part from West Virginia lottery proceeds, we're expanding MTech with a new STEM edition.
Across West Virginia, opportunities like these are made possible when you play, helping to ensure more students can discover their future right here at home. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery for education have totaled $4.1 billion. West Virginia Lottery, 18 plus to play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Calva Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Calva, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
In West Virginia, jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $57 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $303 million. Go ahead, play today. Texter says at 304-TALK-304, both sides like having the immigration issue as a wedge issue in elections. I don't necessarily disagree with that statement. 304-TALK-304. Great show, guys. Senator Capito, who has provided the best national intelligence in the world, stated illegal border crossers paid a fee similar to a year's salary to enter with Democrats' blessing, assuming that's at least $30,000. Let's all hope the newly appointed U.S. Assistant AG for Fraud will find out which Democrats enrich themselves as a result and face prosecution, says John.
So personal indulgence, as a guy that used to deal with NEPA and the permitting process, man, she hit the nail on the head there. Timelines, 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, whatever. But if you don't give me my permit by then because your agency hadn't picked it up, I get to do my project. If Part 17, to quote her, is in deficiency, but parts 1 through 16 are valid, you shouldn't have to start all over. And lastly, stop weaponizing the process, both sides. Liberals who want to derail fossil fuel projects, conservatives who want to derail renewable projects, let the market decide. The process for a permit should be agnostic. That was like, I'm thinking, Dave, personally, from her lips to God's ears.
304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255, the number. We got another break to squeeze in. We went a little long there with the senator. We'll squeeze in the break. We'll wrap up the first hour, tell you what's coming up in the second. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
We're expanding our ultra-fast fiber network across West Virginia, bringing reliable, lightning-fast internet to more homes every day. With plans up to 10 gig, you'll enjoy unbeatable speed for streaming, gaming, and working from home. And right now, new customers get 50% off any plan for their first year, now as low as $25 a month. No contracts, free installation, local support you can count on. Check availability today at citynet.net. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. but the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your App Store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! Stike Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. And we craft detailed financial plans for people like you because you're building your retirement your way. You deserve advice that's built to handle what your life brings. To meet with your Stike team advisor, call us at 304-443-4240 or email stike-info@wealthenhancement.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Text, we got an early steam on a Thursday.
Cool.
Well, TJ thinks it's Friday, so why not? Let's go.
Why not?
Texter says, hey, TJ, my steam today is that the permanent bureaucracy holds the real power and thwarts change, investment, and innovation. Thanks for your insight and letting me vent a day early, says the texter. Quick thought?
I don't think I can respond if it's a steam, right? I mean, I don't know the rules here.
Well,
Judge.
It is Thursday. It is not Friday, despite what we may think in the morning.
How about this? Right on, brother.
There you go. All right, coming up second hour, Hoppy Kercheval drops by. A little homework assignment in the next 6 minutes. He's got a commentary at WVMetroNews.com this morning looking ahead to the Republican primary in May. We'll dive into that with Hop. And a little bit later on, what else we got coming up this morning? Oh, Greg Thomas is going to stop by, right? Greg going to stop by
11:30,
bottom of the
man.
hour.
Yeah.
We'll get into the May primary with Greg, bottom of the hour as well. Lots to get to. 1 hour to do it. We'll be back in 6 minutes. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. Lost him. And you know what? It was just about to get good, too. It was just getting good. We lost
Should
him.
we take the break and maybe he'll call back? I don't know.
You know what? We can take the break, and we can see if Ethan can reconnect with him, because I want to hear where he goes with that answer. I don't know. CJ, I'm just saying, we just started bringing up some deep stuff, and then it gets cut off. Is the Illuminati listening to the show? Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes away from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock?
That's it. I'm going home.
Dang, man.
See ya.
I wouldn't even be on the air on any of our stations before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have a... I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. Boom. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, yeah, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. I bet you that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the northern panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous. Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude.
We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game.
I know.
And you were watching the Lions game on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
what happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So because I'm not a recluse anymore.
So if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some creds? Are you like, hey, I'm actually you want to kind of sports show? It's syndicated.
Well, I don't.
Statewide.
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And listen, that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the
Only
rest
edition.
of the edition, yeah.
Yeah. Tonight is going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
It's going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up. and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station, had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who were from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel, from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. 800-765-TALKS. The phone number. You can text the show at 304-TALK-304. Zach Karolchak handles the video stream. Ethan Collins runs the audio side of things. We appreciate you being part of the program on one of our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia or on the MetroNews TV app. Also, you can watch the show, Facebook, YouTube, on the social media platforms. You'll find us there as well. Greg Thomas will join us bottom of the hour. We'll get to your calls, texts, and tweets as well. Once again, TJ Meadows from the Charleston studios this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good to be here.
Texter asks if we plan to have the commissioner or deputy commissioner of Ag on the show to talk about legislation and other concerns. Remember, West Virginia has more family farms per capita than any other state. Thanks, guys, says the texter. Short answer is yes. We still have, many more weeks of the legislative session. What is today? Day 16 of 60, right?
Yes. 15
Sounds
or
about right.
Yes,
so,
15 or 16.
To answer the texter's question, sure, we'll have Commissioner Leonhardt on at some point when we are back under the Capitol Dome, which we will be next week. Just took the week off due to, the weather, to be honest. The weather early this week was terrible. It's not much better now. It's cold. It's very cold. Awkward transition. Heating up will be the Republican primary across the state of West Virginia, just a couple of months away. Saturday is the deadline for candidates to file their paperwork with the Secretary of State's office. Hoppy Kercheval writes this morning at WVMetroNews.com, the Republican primary is shaping up to be a battle for the control and direction of the state Senate. 19 of the 34 seats are up for grabs, and at least 10 races feature candidates who may be willing to challenge the existing power structure. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline, host emeritus, all-around good guy, Hoppy Kercheval. Morning, Hop.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
So what intrigues you most about this Republican primary coming up just a couple of months from now?
Several things. First is that you guys have talked a lot about the West Virginia State Senate and how there are divisions within the Senate, 2, possibly even 3 different groups within the Senate. And it's generally a split between more moderate Republicans and far more conservative Republicans. Sort of the Chamber of Commerce, pro-business Republicans, and the Republicans more interested in social issues. And so there's a split there. And it's been a struggle for Senate President Randy Smith to try to bring this group together. And there's been criticism of Randy by some, even some within the Senate. Okay, what's your agenda? How are you going to pull all these people together? So now there's this effort, and you can have Greg Thomas on. He can probably explain it better than I can because he's one of the people spearheading this. There's this effort to recruit and attract more moderate Republican candidates for the state Senate in this upcoming primary. And there are 19 of the 34 seats in the Senate are up. And Thomas, along with the support of Tom Takubo, Senator Tom Takubo, have either recruited or put together a list of at least 10, maybe more moderate Republican candidates who will challenge some of these existing Republicans or contend for some of these open seats coming up in May. And if they are successful, even partially successful, it will dramatically change the makeup of the state Senate and quite possibly lead to a change of leadership in the state Senate.
Hoppy, is this the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future? You've got Republican factions. Democrats don't really matter in the Senate anymore, and this is going to be the focal point. The primary is going to matter. The general, not so much, and it's going to be those Chamber of Commerce conservatives against the far-right populists.
Yeah, this is now the election, right, in most of West Virginia. And it's, if you've been around long enough, it's a reminder of the old days of the Democrats. The race was the primary. Whoever won the primary was going to win the general. And that is largely going to be true this year. The races will be the primaries. And I think that'll be the biggest story in the May primary is what happens in these Senate contests, because the candidates who win those primary races have an excellent chance in most cases of winning the general election.
I wanted to ask you about that, just the historical perspective, Hop. You covered the legislature when the Senate was one Republican. Donna Boley was the only Republican in the Senate. So how does this compare to the way it was, 30 years ago when Democrats were in the supermajority and it was the Democratic primary that was deciding the elections?
Yeah, it's about the same, David, except just put an R in front of the names instead of the D. One thing that I think has changed is that it is much harder to corral the members of the caucus than it was back then. Back then, the leader of the House or Senate seemed to have much more of ability to control the members. Now, members are much more like individuals. And I know we've talked about this before, are more willing to come to Charleston saying, I was sent here to do this, and this is what I intend to do. I'm not going to just sit there for 1 or 2 terms to wait for my turn. So it's a lot harder for the leadership to control. And you've seen that in the House and in the Senate, and now particularly in the Senate. So that's how I think it's changed primarily. It's just harder for whoever is the leader to get everybody going in the same direction.
This matters to us because we follow it and we're intrigued by it. Does average Joe Q voter in West Virginia care about these factions, and to what extent are they following this issue, do you think?
Look, we like this stuff, right, because we're into it. The politics of West Virginia, that's our sport. So it matters sort of within the Beltway if we had a Beltway. You're right, TJ. I don't think it matters very much, if at all, to the folks in little white houses with snow in their driveway today. They want to know about the roads. But it does matter, and it will matter in terms of policy. Will the direction be about liberalizing the ability to get out of vaccinations, or will it be more on economic development? Will it be on trying to put Bibles in the classrooms, or will it be about making the state more business friendly? So that's where I think you're going to see the contrast. And the interesting story here, I'm not sure how much Greg Thomas will talk about it, but kind of behind the scenes of all this is Senator Tom Takubo. And Takubo was a candidate for the Senate presidency when Randy Smith kind of emerged as a compromise candidate, right? And Takubo is sort of the de facto leader of this more moderate pro-business side of the Republicans in the Senate. And I wanted to get Takubo to comment. He said he was not going to comment until after the filing period has closed and we see everybody's in the race. But there is a distinct possibility, a distinct probability that if this effort is successful, that Greg Thomas is going to talk about, and a lot of these candidates on this slate win in May, that Takubo could and would be the next Senate president, knocking off Randy Smith.
Hoppy Kercheval joining us here, MetroNews Talkline. He's got his commentary at WVMetroNews.com this morning. How much responsibility, Hop, do I use this just to categorize, the Chamber of Commerce Republicans, do they bear some responsibility for not recruiting enough candidates, not getting out and pushing more candidates to the ballot over the last, say, several years, to the point where now they have to have this push because you have this faction, this split in the Republican Party? Do they bear some responsibility there, or at least that faction?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think what happened was, and this is a good question for Greg Thomas. Greg Thomas is a well-known Republican candidate consultant in West Virginia, been around for a long time, and he has played a significant role in this state's shift to becoming Republican and getting Republicans elected. At some point, I think Thomas maybe had a little buyer's remorse over some of the candidates that won. And now it's interesting that Thomas, who's a sharp-elbowed consultant, he is not afraid to mix it up, that Thomas is integral in this effort to kind of try to moderate the Republican Party in West Virginia and make it more pro-business and, tax and regulation issues, as opposed to some of these social issues. And you see this in some of the candidates recruited. Like, for example, I talk about in the commentary today, they've recruited a candidate in the Northern Panhandle, District 1, Joe Eddy, because this Greg Thomas faction, supported by Tom Takubo, is trying to knock off Laura Wakeham Chapman. You see the effort in District 3, where they've recruited Bob Fehrenbacher, a member of the House of Delegates, to try to knock off Mike Azinger, arguably one of the most conservative members of the Senate. You see it in District 4, where incumbent Jay Taylor, a very conservative member of the Senate, and they've recruited a candidate there to try to knock off Jay Taylor. So those are just a few examples of what I would say is the effort by, like you say, the Chamber of Commerce Republicans, by Greg Thomas, by other more moderate Republican and pro-business groups, and to some degree by Tom Takubo, to try to move the Senate back sort of center-right as opposed to far-right.
In laying out these factions, and the two we've talked about, this idea of possibly a third faction, if it had a face, I think it would be Eric Tarr, who on Dave Allen's show here in Charleston and then on MetroNews Talkline yesterday announced that he's running for re-election. How does Tarr factor into this?
Tarr factors into it in that if you listen to Senator Tarr, and he will tell you, or at least there's a belief that he's sort of the head of this third faction that is not far right or moderate, that he's sort of the middle ground of these factions, and that he has people who are with him. There are others who maybe question how much juice he really has on that front. But I asked Tarr for a comment. It's in the commentary today, and he kind of set himself up as sort of the middle guy of between these two factions. And he was criticizing Takubo for recruiting some of his other candidates. So, look, Tarr's a factor because he is. I mean, he's outspoken, he's media friendly, he's not afraid to mix it up. So we'll see. We'll see where this all shakes out for Eric Tarr. But he's a player in all this. He's not with it. Tarr is not with this effort that's going on. Be clear about that. He's not with this Greg Thomas Takubo effort, but he's in there mixing it up on his own for sure.
Would it be unfair for me to say that Tarr's role and how much of a role he plays and how much power he plays will ultimately end up in how successful Takubo is? If he gets all 10 of his guys, he may not need Tarr. If he only gets 5 of his guys, he may need Tarr in order to see some kind of leadership change.
Yeah, that's a good question for Thomas. Kind of see how that goes. Look, I'll let Greg Thomas say this. I imagine what Thomas and, Takubo probably wouldn't say this because he's a more temperate guy than Thomas. But I think that the effort would be get enough people elected, get enough like-minded people elected so that they can sideline Tarr and not have to worry about Tarr.
Would it be fair to describe Tarr, TJ, and you know him very well, he would be the socially conservative, business-friendly guy. That's a fair characterization, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's going to be passionate about both, and I think he sees that ground as he said yesterday, I can walk and chew gum at the same time, so I can be the best of both worlds, and I can appeal to everybody. And I guess, Dave, to your point, it's just whether or not the electorate buys that, Hoppy, and whether or not he can be in both camps and move business forward and move it forward quickly enough that he can do the other far-leaning conservative things, and ultimately how much they're going to combat against each other.
And I'll go back to an original point. I know this is inside the Beltway if we had a Beltway, but this is a fascinating, to me, if you're interested in politics in West Virginia, this is a fascinating dynamic. And it will be, the outcome of these Senate races will be the most significant races in the in West Virginia this year, and it's in the primary. It's in the primary, and now you see the Republicans got this super majority, and it was, wow, now the Republicans have a cakewalk in the primary until these factions develop, which they have, and then you see another group that say, wait, we don't like how far this has gone. We're going to get another group to try to get in there and try to be more moderate Republicans. So I wrote about it today. I have a list of those candidates in these races that you'll want to watch, and I think it'll be fascinating to see what happens in May.
You can read the commentary at WVMetroNews.com. Saturday is the deadline to file with the Secretary of State's office, so by this time next week, we'll know exactly who's running and where. Hoppy, always appreciate it. Did you get dug out? I guess not as much snow down here as there was up at my house, but did you get dug out? Are you out and about again after the winter storm?
Oh, I'm out and about. I think that. But here's the interesting thing: is that we had the snow and then we had the ice, the sleet.
Yeah.
So actually, on my driveway, I left the snow down so I can get some traction.
Oh,
if I got the snow off, I'd be down to ice, right?
You could always just take the sled, man. You just slide right in.
Exactly.
Hey, Hop, appreciate it, buddy. Thank you as always.
My pleasure.
Talk to you next week. Hoppy Kercheval will read the commentary at WVMetroNews.com. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZMM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZMM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
Principal Greg Dosh of MTech.
Thanks to funding in part from West Virginia Lottery proceeds, we're expanding MTech with a new STEM edition.
Across West Virginia, opportunities like these are made possible when you play, helping to ensure more students can discover their future right here at home. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery for education have totaled $4.1 billion. West Virginia Lottery, 18 plus to play responsibly.
The Mountain State's premier fishing, hunting, and outdoor sports show returns to Milan Park in Morgantown March 7th and 8th. Over 100,000 square feet of campers and RVs, boats and ATVs, hunting and fishing supplies, guns, knives, and more. Limited vendor space is now available. To put your products and services in front of over 10,000 outdoor enthusiasts, visit WVOutdoorSportsShow.com. The 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, presented by Can-Am, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown, a WVRC Media event.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Hey, welcome in, everybody, one and all.
Got some breaking news to get to.
The most powerful radio show in West Virginia.
And the people absolutely love it.
But that's something you're going to have to watch.
It's MetroNews Talkline.
Statewide Sports Line.
MetroNews Midday.
The MetroNews Hotline.
Game night.
3 guys before the game.
That's a good combination.
And it's on.
Metro News.
The voice of West Virginia.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
It's high school basketball season, and MetroNews Television has you covered. Rivalries, buzzer beaters, classic hardwood competition. Watch live and on demand from gyms across the Mountain State. Stream MetroNews Television on your iPhone, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select smart TVs. Or visit MetroNewsTV.com for more information. High school basketball lives here on MetroNews Television.
CityNet makes technology simple for business, from network monitoring to IT management. Their experts keep you connected and protected. Learn more at citynet.net. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects. 304 Talk 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. Oh, Hoppy said the V word. That's got the text line hopping.
The what?
Pun. The V word.
Okay, I'm stupid. I'm not following.
He said vaccines.
Oh, jeez.
We'll move on. Dave and TJ, I personally do not think that West Virginia voters like factions. Most like to hear from the candidates themselves. They want their candidates to have some independence and loyalty to their constituents who voted for them. 304 Talk 304. I hope Eric Tarr does not get elected. He's the worst, says the texter. Wow. Can conservatives walk and chew gum? How things are in West Virginia doesn't support that they can. 304 Talk 304. Question for Greg Thomas. Does he think pushing out independents from the Republican primaries will hurt his and Senator Takubo's efforts? Tell you what, I believe... Is Greg in there with you right now, TJ?
Greg, hop on a microphone.
Let's go ahead and bring him
in. Put the headphones on. Hop on a microphone.
Greg Thomas, Republican operative, strategist, long time here in West Virginia. Hey, Greg, texter wants to know, and we have just enough time for you to answer this question. I already know the answer to it. Texter wants to know, do you think pushing out independents from the Republican primaries will hurt your efforts along with Senator Takubo? What do you think?
I think it varies district by district. I mean, I think there's some parts of the state where people became independent just because they were conservatives, but they didn't want to become Republicans. And then I think there's other, probably the more populated parts of the state where independents are truly independent. You know what I mean? And I think that, so I think it varies, by district. I think it's a case by case basis.
All right. Case by. I thought you were just going to come out with a hard yes there. But you always surprise me a little bit, Greg.
Well, there's, it's. I think that people, and we came on and talked about that poll that we did of the independents. I think there's a lot of people that said like, oh my gosh, these independents are liberal Democrats that are, masquerading as independents. And the reality is, all of those Democrats, they didn't stop. It wasn't like a two-step process to become Republicans. They just became Republicans, right? I mean, we had 50,000 people over the last 4 or 5 years that have been Democrats forever that became Republicans. And those are the ones I often refer to as, they're kind of the fringe issue Democrats, but they're still Democrats. They're still they're still very liberal on economic issues.
That poll largely said that most independents would not change to vote in the primary. The way this legislative session is going, somebody should run that poll again and see if they change their mind.
I think I think there will be an effort to get independents to come back or to come over. And if I'm anybody running this time, I'm at least going to try to get them to come over, right? I mean, there's going to be a lot of conservatives in there. There's going to be some moderates in there. But this idea that there's a bunch of liberal independents that are going to come over and try to get involved in our primary, I mean, I've just never seen that. I've just never seen that happen before. I think we were trying to, I think there were a handful of people that just wanted fewer voters in the Republican primary. And they sort of used that as the boogeyman to get that get that passed.
All right, that's bonus Greg Thomas. We'll actually get to the conversation we've got him here for coming up on the other side of the news break. Your thoughts are welcome at 304-TALK-304. 304-TALK-304, that's the text line, at 800-765-8255 is the phone number. Steam release coming up tomorrow on the program. We will be back at the state capitol, back on our regular rotation starting on Tuesday next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be back at the capitol. A couple of big days ahead next week. Marshall Day on Tuesday, WVU Day on Wednesday down at the capitol. More with Greg Thomas coming up on the other side of the news break. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. River traffic on the Ohio River has come to a halt in Pleasants County. Workers at the Willow Island Lock and Dam were forced to shut down operations Thursday due to the extreme cold. Project manager Jason Casto says the ice has gone beyond what they can deal with.
It's not pushing it up over the lock walls, it's freezing to the lock walls. That's making your chamber a little bit more narrow, and then it's sticking to the gates, so it's hard to get the gates to fully miter, which if you can't get them to fully miter, then you can't really raise and lower the chamber because it's literal head pressure is what holds those gates in place.
And he said they were maintaining it with a propane torch to thaw the locks, but the propane bottle started to freeze, and now the ice has become so thick the chamber doors will not miter, and that's allowing water to leak out. At this hour, 7 barges, 6 headed downriver and 1 headed upriver, are stranded until further notice. The man convicted in November of 2022 in the murder of a Fairmont man near Morgantown will serve 25 years in prison. 26-year-old Chance Williams of Morgantown was sentenced Wednesday. He was convicted last year of second-degree murder. A body has been found along I-79 between Fairmont and Morgantown. The discovery made in the way station area near the Marion-Montague County line. State police say they answered a call there Wednesday afternoon. Caller said somebody was having a heart attack. You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Now showing on Metro News Television, your friends at Hope Gas present Episode 6 of State of Minds. Hoppy Kercheval visits with Jacob Gordon, world-renowned tattoo artist and owner of Katana Gold.
What do you think would fit me?
I think a ninja. A ninja with 2 swords.
State of Minds. Episode 6, now available on Metro News TV. Presented by Hope Gas, with support from Greer Industries. Only on the Metro News Television app.
Flags at the state capitol and at state-owned facilities in Berkeley County fly at half-staff today in honor of the late Berkeley County Delegate John Overington. He died Tuesday night. Senator Patricia Rucker said Overington was a gentleman and a statesman during his life and legislative service.
He cared about the Constitution, both the U.S. and the West Virginia Constitution, and he wanted to see the people's will represented.
Overington served from 1984 to 2018. He was 79. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
Metro News Talkline from the Incumbent Insurance Studios. Geez, I heard Chris Lawrence during the news update say the lock and dams are frozen down at Willow Island. That's my old stomping grounds on the Ohio River. You're probably, because the river's frozen, Jeet Lake's frozen, Tigert Lake's probably frozen. Probably not thinking about a pontoon boat, but you should, because soon enough it will be warm, and then you will regret having not thought about it when it was below zero. Check out all the inventory and the great deals on pontoon boats and fishing boats at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Check out their inventory at LouWendellMarineSales.com. Lou Wendell Marine Sales, we sell family. Let me give the official introduction now to Greg Thomas. He's a longtime Republican strategist, played a role in the Republicans getting their supermajorities now in the House and the Senate. and he's got a slate of candidates that will be running for state Senate seats coming up in May. Greg, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I don't know. I don't think it's Greg Thomas's slate as much as there are a group of.
Come on, you're the kingmaker.
Look, that was that's not really how this works. It's not how it works sometimes, but there's a lot of people around the state, especially after the last legislative session, that they looked at it and said, "Oh my gosh, here we went after a decade of leading." With one of the most conservative legislative agendas in the country. We got the economy back on track, biggest tax cut in state history, passed all kinds of very conservative issues, including a lot of very conservative social issues. That last session, they really saw the state Senate lose its way. Each and every day we're seeing bills proposed that grow the size of government, scope of government. We got a growing budget. Last year was the first year in 6 years we didn't have a tax cut. These guys couldn't spell local control. And now all of a sudden, West Virginia is one of only a handful of states in the country that's losing jobs. Many of our current state senators are anti-business. And as people around the state looked at this, so a lot of, I appreciate Hoppy's, commentary, but there's a lot of these folks, they filed before we knew them, right? I mean, it's just like, hey, you saw somebody file and we ask around and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, here's somebody that's our kind of person, right? Here's somebody that, wants to, these are, candidates that are going to focus on creating jobs, growing the economy, improving education, investing in infrastructure. So we looked at who had already filed. We looked at the areas where we needed other people. And now, we have a team of job creators, physicians, and other successful professionals that are well positioned to be successful in May as politicians for the first time, many of them. So we're excited about that. I think that, Hoppy's column gets a lot of things right. The one thing I would say, having, just listened to the interview, Ro, I think the one thing that I would say that I don't view as right is that it's conservative versus moderates. I mean, I don't see it that way at all. I mean, the reality is we took care of the social issues, right? We passed one of the, we outlawed abortion in West Virginia with exceptions. We banned transgender surgeries. We did all of the things that you would want to do, and now you've got this new group that comes in, and it's like they're jealous that they didn't get to vote on that stuff, right? And so they come up with these new fringe things. And next thing you know, we're talking about anti-vax and, all these other things that no one, and here's the thing too, guys, I ran a lot of these campaigns and I oversaw the campaigns of most of the people we're running against this time. So I apologize for that, getting a lot of these guys elected that haven't done a very good job. But having run their campaigns, they didn't run on being anti-vax. They didn't run on whatever this Bible is they're trying to put. They didn't run on any of that stuff. You know what they ran on? Growing the economy, jobs, roads, schools. That's what they ran on, because I remember running the campaigns. And so when I get people now who are like, well, why are you helping, organize this effort against them? And it's because these guys are the ones that betrayed their conservative principles.
Does this populist right group believe, in your opinion, that it is their place to impose their religious beliefs on others rather than leaving that choice to, because it does seem heavily focused on the religious side.
I think a lot of those folks, a lot of these people, you remember the Tea Party stuff and things like that, when Obama really grew the scope of the federal government. And I think there were a whole lot of us as part of this Tea Party that pushed back, right? And I was organized in that. I helped organize that effort in West Virginia, and I'm friends with a lot of those people that were active then. And we really pushed back. I mean, it was one of the things that helped propel us into the majority here in West Virginia. But it's like half of that group were people like me that looked at it and said, man, it's really bad that the government tried to take that much power. Let's not do that again. And the other third of that group was like, wow, look at how much power they have. When we get in there, you know what? We need to get in power so we can do that to them. And I think that's what this new group in Charleston, especially in the state Senate here, I think that's their viewpoint. I think they look at it like, you know what? You told us what to do for 10 years. Now, you know what? We're going to tell you what to do for 10 years. We're going to tell you what to do with your school. We're going to tell you what to do in your bedroom. We're going to tell you what to do with the sign out in front of your business or whatever. And so to me, you know, I've said this before. I mean, I think that there's a bunch of Democrats that switched to Republican over the last 4 or 5 years that were essentially just the racist, homophobic wing of the Democratic Party. And they switched to Republicans. They weren't independents, by the way. They switched to Republican. And so now they're a part of our party. But they didn't, you know, so they're attracted to the immigration stuff. They're attracted to some of the other social conservative things. But they did not assimilate on the economic issues.
Greg Thomas is joining us, longtime GOP strategist. And you kind of beat me to the next question. A little less extreme, but that was my question to you. Did you have Democrats who were socially conservative but brought their economic philosophies with them to the Republicans, and that is an impact? And you obviously just said that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And look, you'll see, you can tell, and this is what I tell, you know, people say, well, you know, how do I know if my person's, you know, they're saying my challenger is a rhino. I mean, why are they saying that? And I'm like, well, if somebody's calling the other guy a rhino, it probably means most of their money came from the former Democrat power brokers, right? I'll use the example of Laura Chapman up in Wheeling. You know, less than a third of her donors are Republican, right? So who's giving her money? Democrats, right?
Less than a third are registered Republicans?
Less than a third. She's raised more money than any of the incumbents that we're going to be challenging, and less than a third of her donors are Republicans. So how is that? How is she the conservative in the race? She's not the conservative in the race, right? She didn't, and you know, she didn't, you know, she ran as a conservative. That's the thing, you know, a bunch of them, including her, ran as conservatives. They ran as conservative Republicans, but they very much govern as liberal Democrats with a handful of fringe social issues that, to me, are doing nothing more than trying to attract likes from their 35 Facebook followers.
So, Greg, we're talking to Greg Thomas. How do you get your message out to the average voter who's got to get up, go to work in the morning, take the kids to school, they got soccer practice, they got to clean the house, the dog's got to go to the vet? They're not going to sit around and take a deep dive into who's donating to this candidate or that candidate. How do you get this message out to differentiate your candidates?
We're going to run campaigns, and we're going to run television ads, and we're going to run radio ads, and we're going to run digital ads. We're going to go out and say, do you want do you think the state Senate should be focused on creating jobs, improving the schools, investing in infrastructure, or do you think we should be running bills where right now, you know, we went from 1,000. Part of the problem with this stuff is we were a victim of our own success on these social issues. We've banned all that stuff. We went from having 1,000 abortions a year. You know how many we had in last year, guys, in West Virginia? How many abortions we had last year in West Virginia? 0. Yet Jay Taylor, you know, wants to go out and do away the exceptions because he thinks it's important to have some child that's been raped he wants to force them to have the rapist baby. So what do you want? Do you think it's more important that you have a good paying job, or do you more think it's more important that rapists get to have their babies born?
Let me go here. 2 factions. Hoppy talked about that. Mm-hmm. I agree. There's at least 2. This idea of a third and how Eric Tarr plays in. Give me your take on that.
Look, and you know, Eric's been I've worked closely with Eric over the last decade, and he's done a lot of good things. I think Eric's politics are in that sort of middle ground. I think the problem is just the personality of it, right? I mean, Eric was
talking about Tarr's personality.
Tarr's personality, and just, you know, it's tough to go from being the state Senate finance chairman to the state Senate president because you're the guy telling people no. You're running with the iron fist. I mean, Eric did a very good job of controlling spending, which is what enabled we grew the economy, controlled spending, which created an opportunity for us to pass the largest tax cut in history. But that takes discipline. That took him being a hardliner on stuff. Look, Eric ran for state Senate president before and got like 4 votes. Right. And then Eric went and took his faction and voted for Randy Smith to become Senate president. You know, so he can, look, Eric can be critical of Randy Smith now and say, oh, they don't have an agenda. They haven't done anything. But he enabled that to get in there. You know, I mean, I did everything I could to get Eric to kind of work with our group to move forward. And, he, for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to do that. And so, but again, I think it's the other side that keeps saying, "Oh, these guys are moderates." But to me, I just don't think that's the case. I mean, to me, I've been running conservative campaigns in West Virginia for a long time, and the folks that we've identified as people that want to make changes in the state Senate and are people that, are business people that are conservatives that look at this and have a sense of urgency, right? These aren't people, the Chris Miller. You think Chris Miller needs to come to Charleston to get $23,000 in a PEI health care? No, like these people are willing to make sacrifices to come to Charleston to help do this stuff. And part of the reason that I think a lot of the folks that are there now aren't focused on the economy, how's somebody that doesn't have a good paying job, how's somebody that doesn't have a full-time job at all going to know how to create full-time jobs for everybody else? Part of this is a competency issue, guys. The status quo caucus, they're not competent.
Greg, that is the universal sign from TJ that says we got to go and we got to leave it from there. I can see you all down there. All right.
I appreciate the opportunity, fellas.
Hey, buddy, appreciate it. We'll talk to you again real soon. Primary coming up in May. Saturday's the last day to file. We'll change gears. We'll be back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Incumbent Insurance Studios.
The weekend's almost here, and are you looking for the perfect way to enjoy the water? Lou Wendell Marine Sales has you covered with Avalon pontoon boats. These luxurious high-performance pontoons offer smooth rides, spacious seating, and top-tier durability. Built with precision and style, Avalon pontoons deliver comfort and reliability season after season. Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales today and experience the Avalon difference. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University. Your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
Principal Greg Dosh of MTech.
Thanks to funding in part from West Virginia Lottery proceeds, we're expanding MTech with a new STEM edition.
Across West Virginia, opportunities like these are made possible when you play, helping to ensure more students can discover their future right here at home. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery for education have totaled $4.1 billion. West Virginia Lottery, 18 plus to play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
I have had
had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. We believe retirement starts with a plan. Saving for college starts with a plan. Your legacy starts with a plan. Do you have the right plan? Call our team at 304-443-4240 or email steig-info@wealthenhancement.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. Wonder School is a leading provider of comprehensive child care solutions. We've talked a lot about child care here in West Virginia, in particular the cost of child care. Joining us from Wonder School is Jason Moss. Jason, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Appreciate you joining us. How can we get a handle, first of all, on the child care issue and the cost of child care here in West Virginia?
I think anybody who has children in child care probably is feeling these costs pretty acutely and pretty intimately. The costs are high. Costs can often be equivalent to somebody's monthly mortgage, and costs tend to be on the rise. So, the way to get a handle on it is talk to anybody who has young children.
What are you hearing from lawmakers at the Capitol? I know you want the Tri-Share program. You can explain that. Are you getting positive feedback, and can we afford it here in West Virginia?
Yeah. So let me step back. I'll give you just a quick headline on Tri-Share. So Tri-Share is a cost-sharing initiative that looks to make child care more affordable for people. It splits the cost of child care among an employer, the state, and an employee. So it can reduce child care costs upwards of 2/3. And I think it's precisely because the dollars are matched by employers that you get sort of so much bang for your buck, right? It doesn't take a large investment to double the impact of that. And for the individual, that impact can be significant, right? An employer who contributes $150 a month, and that's matched by the state, can see, $3,000-$4,000 of their child care tuition reduced. So I think for, affordability is always one of the issues of child care, and I think it cuts across, I think the legislators here in the state know it well, and it's something that sort of everybody wants to kind of help, because at the bottom line, if we can make childcare more affordable for folks, they're not making that decision, should I stay home or should I go back to work? It improves the workforce, it helps with the economy, and as we've heard our governor say, that's the number one issue.
Is that getting traction? Are lawmakers buying that? Are they buying what you're selling, Jason?
Yeah, it's getting traction. So I would say there's both state traction. We've now got a number of employers that are participating. We've got employees that are benefiting, and I'm here because we are looking to. This was always a pilot. It was a pilot for 8 counties, and so now we're looking at how do we extend it and expand it. And simply by the letters of support that we've gotten from across the state, there's sort of widespread interest to do that. I think the other thing is that Tri-Share is, when it started in West Virginia at the beginning of the year, it was still limited to just a couple states that were doing it. Just in the past year, there's probably now a dozen states that have launched similar initiatives, or their legislature is looking at it. In fact, there's a federal Tri-Share bill that's also sort of, making the rounds. And so I think there's just much more enthusiasm about it as a way to address affordability of childcare and get people back to work.
Jason, got about a minute here. Explain to folks what Wonder School is and its mission.
Our mission is to ensure that every a parent has quality, affordable childcare within 5 minutes. The way that we do that is we work with state and local governments and provide technology to address the most pressing childcare challenges. So in the case of TriShare, we have built a platform that makes the experience very quick and easy for employers, for the state, for everybody to participate and ensure that childcare costs can get lowered and that providers can get paid, and it's without any sort of administrative burden.
Website, social media, where can folks get more information?
You can Google West Virginia TriShare, and we will come up. You can email us at wv-trishare@wonderschool.com, and we'll get back to you today.
Jason Moss, Wonder School. Hey, appreciate you stopping by today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take a break. We'll wrap up this Thursday edition of Talkline. We'll be back in a moment.
Metallurgical coal builds the world, and the Met Coal Producers Association is the network that makes it possible. The MCPA unites America's met coal producers, giving members a powerful voice in policy, partnership, and progress. Producers, suppliers, and innovators come together here to build relationships, drive growth, and strengthen our industry. Join today. Visit metcoal.com. Met Coal makes it possible. MCPA makes it personal.
Building a stronger West Virginia isn't just a dream, it's a mission. The High Technology Foundation knows economic diversity is the key. For over 30 years, they've been dedicated to transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia, innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit wvhtf.org to learn more.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
Hey, welcome in, everybody, one and all.
We've got some breaking news to get to.
The most powerful radio show in West Virginia.
And the people absolutely love it.
That's something you're going to have to watch.
It's MetroNews Talkline.
Statewide Sports Line.
MetroNews Midday.
The MetroNews Hotline.
Game night.
3 guys before the game.
That's a good combination.
And it's on.
Metro News.
The voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia, and who does not want to be a millionaire? Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $57 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $303 million, so go ahead, play today. Texter says, Dave, you are the consummate professional, especially when you're interviewing Shelley Moore Capito. You know what I mean. says the texter, and then sends laughing face emojis and what I think is a couple of legs. Okay, I guess I know what you mean.
Is that a Seinfeld thing? You get a lot of that.
I think it's just the individual texter thing.
Oh, okay.
He thinks he's a comedian.
Gotcha.
Is what I believe.
Understood.
304 Talk, 304. A Republican talking about competency in their candidates. That's some funny. And they send along an emoji. Use your imagination. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hey, TJ, tomorrow, it's actually Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate that heads up, buddy.
This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.